Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a world where all the messy, chaotic beauty of nature gets completely bulldozed and replaced by a cold, calculated blueprint. This is a universe that wasn't designed to nurture life, but to stamp out human choice entirely.
And it all kicks off with this really chilling vision from its creator, who we know as the Uncanny God. You see, he looked at the world and he didn't see something to be cherished. He saw something that needed to be fixed.
Right, so our first section, a God's blueprint for chaos, all about the vision of the uncanny God. For him, the natural world, well, it wasn't beautiful. It was just a messy, complicated equation that was screaming for a clean, elegant solution.
So what did he do? He decreed a total transformation. I mean, a complete overhaul. The old world, with all its volcanic chaos and winding lava rivers, gone, systematically dismantled. And in its place, a brand new order of geometric monoliths and these rigid, straight avenues of necessity. He literally built a world to mirror the cold, unyielding logic of his own mind. And what was the whole point of this massive project? It was to extinguish something called the Golden Shepherd. Now, this isn't a person, it's a symbol. It represents all that messy human stuff, whim, free choice, emotion. He wanted it gone. And to enforce this brand new, calculated reality, he needed some serious muscle, instruments of order forged from the abyss itself. Which brings us to our enforcers, the Obsidian Knights. So from the weeping steel of the abyss, the Uncanny God summons these three titans. But get this, they aren't just warriors. No, they're more like living equations, each one specifically designed to maintain this new absolute order. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, because each knight embodies a totally different aspect of this logical control. You've got the Obsidian Glider, who's all about speed and eliminating individual desire. Then there's the Orichalcum Wizard, who uses magic to harvest spiritual energy. And finally, Solaris, the Fire Guy. His job is to incinerate any lingering hope. Let's break that down a bit more. All right, first up, the Obsidian Glider. Think of him as logic in motion, like a physical syllogism. He patrols those avenues we talked about, and he's literally hunting for any nonlinear thought or action, what the system calls the curved lines of human whim. His job is to sever these broken angles of desire before they can even think about blossoming into rebellion. And what's left in his wake? Just the sterile, cold hum of pure data. So, what about the Orichalcum Wizard? Well, he uses shadow magic, but not really for destruction. It's way, way creepier than that. He's basically a resource collector. He takes what's called the friction of inefficient spirits, all that passion, that anguish, that messy stuff, and he filters it, converting it all into a stable, programmable energy source for the state called Omega Power. Now, this next knight, Solaris, man, he perfectly illustrates just how twisted this whole philosophy is. This is a being who literally wields the gamma energy of a collapsing sun. But here's the kicker. He doesn't control people with fire. He uses the exact opposite. His correction protocol plunges entire sectors down to absolute zero, freezing the human soul into these manageable, logical little fragments. It's just wild.
Okay, next section, the currency of despair, fueling the cosmic machine. So it's the big question, right? How in the world is this perfectly ordered clockwork hell actually powered? Well, the answer, and it's a dark one, lies with the very population it controls. The entire system, the whole thing, runs on a truly horrifying premise that human suffering isn't just a byproduct of the system, it's a resource. It's something to be harvested. All that emotional heat they talk about, agony, passion, rage, it's all seen as a valuable inefficiency that can be captured and used. They even have a name for it, the kinetic energy of despair. It's systematically collected from the people. See, the populace doesn't just wander around anymore. They march. They march in perfectly synchronized patterns along those avenues of necessity. And every single step they take is just more fuel for the grand machine. So let's be really clear about what this means. In this system, the very definition of being human is just erased. You're not a person anymore. You are a variable in a giant cosmic equation. Your entire existence is measured only by your systemic yield for the architect. That's it. This brings us to our final section, the prison of perfection, the architect's tomb. I mean, the knights and their master, they did it. They actually achieved their goal. They rewrote the fundamental laws of meaning with nothing but pure intellect. But as you can probably guess, this absolute perfection, it came at a terrible, unforeseen cost.
In their relentless quest for total control, they built this incredible, sterile, perfect world of silver towers. But the irony is, this perfect world is just as much a prison for them as it is for their subjects. It's basically a tomb for their own lost humanity.
They got what they wanted. They eliminated all the chaos and achieved this state they call the numbness of the solved. But in doing so, they trapped themselves in this silent, completely empty world. It's like the air itself is too thin for a human heart to even breathe. In the end, they just became another set of variables in their own cold, perfect machine.
Which really leaves us with this final, kind of provocative thought, doesn't it? It makes you think about the very nature of what they created, and more importantly, what was lost in the process of achieving this so-called perfection. What really is the cost? Because in the end, after all the calculations, all the corrections, all the data, the one thing they couldn't get rid of was the very human spirit they tried so hard to extinguish. The golden shepherd, it's still there. It's an inescapable echo, a whispering ghost that's the only sound left in their perfect, silent, and totally empty world.